Okay, so this series is finally out. It's been a minute. I'm very excited about it. But before we get into that excitement, I promised Mike that I would let him go off the handle on something. So I'm going to let him do that.
Yeah, so I was wondering for the longest time why the marketing for the show has been very muted. And now that we've seen the first episode and seen the opening credits for the show, I kind of get it. Guys, generative AI is bad. It is there is no way to copyright it. You are taking jobs away from very talented artists.
Mm-hmm.
And stuff like this is like the very reason why groups like the Writers Guild of America and Screen Actors Guild, and if they can get their heads out of their asses, the Directors Guild, are all going on strike.
Yep. And Warner Brothers ain't helping from what I just saw today.
Yeah, Hollywood is definitely taking a nosedive over the past, years. But this, I could maybe understand from an artistic perspective that they wanted to go for an opening sequence to elicit feelings of uneasiness, of paranoia,
yep.
and all of that. They didn't have to actually use AI though. They could have just imitated the style.
You know, you know a way that could have done this and got this message across. You know how the whole big series of this is going to be the fact that Skrulls and real people are fake, people are not.
Mm-hmm.
What would have happened if a company who, I remind you, makes end games gross a month now, made a real opening and then to be like, hey, there's always a fake worse version, make an AI version of that opening you paid someone to make, and then show it a couple episodes as an event to be like, this is the fake, this one was the Skrull opening, whatever, then you still paid people.
Exactly.
That way, my artistic expression was that the opening was fake, like ever bullshit reason would have actually been merited.
As it stands, no, not a good look, guys. Especially when you're already under fire for the way that you've treated people who work on visual effects.
Yep. Give or take, they got rid of the woman that from what I understood, did most of the bad, but you then shouldn't find another way to do the bad in a different way.
Yeah, this is just all around not a good look. And what honestly frustrates me about all of this is that the show itself is actually really good.
It is. It's going to be the most, I want to say, intuitive watch of all of these shows that they've done so far. Keep in mind the last one they did was She-Hulk, so this is a big old swerve from what we had last, which that's not a knock against She-Hulk. That was just, we had a person crawling through the fucking Disney Plus menu screen to go talk with KevBot 5000. I still thought I was having a stroke when that happened. It might be the best thing Disney's ever done. But, yeah, it is really good. And it's like I said, if you wanted to do this, you should have, for that reason alone that they gave, that we wanted it to feel like, yeah, they could be whatever, then you should have made a fake ending or like a fake opening with an AI that was trying to imitate the real ending. Because you can make an AI do that.
Mm-hmm.
Then would have been artistic expression that people would have been like, oh, haha, you're making fun of AI to where it can't be a hubbub and it's not as good as the real thing. Get it? Haha, we'll let it go this one time because you're doing it as a joke and you're not trying to be cheap sons of bitches. But no, we didn't do that. I'm an uneducated schmo with an associate's degree, and I figured out a better way to do this. Guys, If you want people to come up with better ideas, I am willing to accept the paycheck. I'm just saying.
Exactly.
Good Lord. But anyway, I've been looking quite forward to this for a while. And outside of that opening, I really liked it. But so I love that the opening of the show was basically the Pepe Sylvia scene from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And they're smartly, they only did it to my knowledge twice in this episode that I'm remembering. The fake out where you were made to think it was a real person and not the person changed 5 times, but you know there's still a Skrull. So they only did that twice, and the first one was with it's Martin Freeman's character. I am blanking hard.
Everett Ross.
So that was good. Genuinely didn't know who was who in that situation. So that was really good. I appreciated that. And then, like, I'd somehow, like, forgotten that Agent Hill was in this. Then all of a sudden they're like, oh, good, they brought Agent Hill back. And then I had a thought 20 minutes later. I'm like, oh, boy, this is a spy thriller. That would really suck if I was happy that Agent Hill came back just for them to kill her off in a shock ending at the end of the episode. Ha ha! They wouldn't do that. Anyway, but yeah, so I do like that they're basing this off the fact that the Skrulls have a legit beef with Nick and Carol. Like, you promised us a planet 30 years ago. What actually happened?
I actually am kind of curious to know why, like, what happened in those 30 years.
Because Nick wasn't dealing with any Avengers level threat for that long. He wasn't. He had Carol, and that was it. And then you got Iron Man, and then it went all downhill.
Yep.
Like, the Tesseract was before you, buddy. What the hell were you actually doing?
I hope we do get to see some flashbacks of whatever happened in that time.
I hope so. Because otherwise the Skrulls have an unbelievably good point, and Nick is very in the wrong. Like, to the most ridiculous extent, the villain's actually kind of right, though. Blowing up people to steal the planet that, of the people that didn't break your promise outside of 2 of them, a bit harsh of a way to deal with it, and that's making you into a villain. But you have a legit reason to be pissed off if we get no good reason. But anyway, so this is the first time since, I want to say, WandaVision that they've mentioned Sword or Saber.
I barely remember a reference to Saber in WandaVision, but
I don't think it was Saber. I want to say it was Sword, because that's where Wanda went to go look for.
I do remember that.
I say Sword and Saber because I have no idea what Saber was before this, but I knew what Sword was. So I'm just like, oh, okay, Saber's a ship within Sword, whatever, they're working on this. It's the space thing. It's the first time they've mentioned space since, yeah, WandaVision. Wait, what was the end credits? Did No Way Home come after that? No, Far From Home would have came after WandaVision, so that was the last time, because that's when we saw Skrulls, and that's when we saw Nick up in with working with Sword. So I lied. That was the last time. They didn't say Sword then, but we got the idea. But yeah, it's been a hot minute since they've mentioned it. So they're very much dipping their toes in the space thing again, which is good. But they're not going to go too nuts, I don't think. I don't see them leaving Earth here. So we'll see. And I'm always wondering when they get back to the Skrulls how they're going to handle them, because the most well-known Skrull is a Fantastic Four villain.
I know that's Super Skrull. I'm just wondering if he actually has a name.
I just think he's called Super Skrull. I honestly think that's all he's called. I've never heard anyone reference him as something else.
Actually, he does have a name. It's I'm not sure how to pronounce it. It's like CL''RT, probably like Clark.
So therefore his name is Super Skrull. Because no one ever calls him that. But yeah. But yeah, so that'll be interesting to see how they handle all of this. Because normally in the beginning of all this, the Kree are normally always made out to be the good guys, and the Skrulls are made out to be bad people right away. Now you have the Kree are a bunch of dickheads, and some of the Skrulls are bad people. So that's going to be a little weird. So yeah, Gravik is going to be our main villain of the series, I see. Who's playing him?
His name is Kingsley Benadir.
Okay, gotcha. First thing I've seen the guy in. Little bit that he's done, he's doing a good job. Didn't know who Emilia Clarke was, but I'm going to be honest, from the trailers, I didn't think she was a Skrull. A lot of scenes in there in normal clothing, wearing spyware and a gun.
Very interesting how she is, not only is she a Skrull, but she's playing Talos' daughter.
Yeah, and his wife is dead. And from what we understand from what Talos is saying, they killed her. So we'll see.
That's going to be interesting.
That's going to be interesting, yeah. But so yeah, and I did like and again, I don't remember if he was in the trailer or not. I don't remember seeing Rhodey in the trailer.
He was in one scene where he tells Nick, like, "You're the most wanted man in the country."
Oh, okay.
And I believe that scene will be in the next episode.
Okay, cool. He's walking normally now.
Yes.
He doesn't have leg assists. Unless they're the skinniest, non-bulky leg assists ever, he's fixed.
Well, it's been how many years since Civil War?
I don't know. I honestly have no idea. Couldn't tell you.
It's been enough time.
It's been enough time. But anyway. So they're both effectively AWOL now, and they need to get information out of them because they haven't checked it. And it's considered a big deal that Nick left Saber because no one ever thought he was coming back to Earth, pretty much, from the looks of it. Kind of sounded like they all thought he was going to live out the rest of his life figuring that thing out up there.
Probably.
So, yeah. Because from what they're making very apparent, and you never got to see it in any of the movies because a good chunk of the stuff leading up to the snap and then the one movie in between, you never got to see Nick. And then the snap happened, and then you just saw Nick at the funeral, and then a ton has happened, and Nick hasn't been involved at all because he's been in space. So we haven't gotten to see the Nick got shook and left part. We just got to see him relaxing in a beach chair in front of a hologram.
Another reason why I'm curious to see, like, if this show has any flashbacks, because, like, being away for the 5 years that he was snapped must have taken a toll on his, like, psyche, which is why pretty much everyone in the show is like, Nick, you're not ready. You're not yourself.
Yeah, who's normally the most I'm prepared for everything human being on the planet. It's like Hill said when they were playing chess. You now know that you can't be prepared for everything, and it bugs the shit out of you. But yeah. So we figure out that the whole plot of this one was they wanted to get Dirty Bombs to try and set America against Russia. or Russia against America, I should say. And that the Skrulls are living in the radiated, like, nuclear plants that are off the books in Russia because they're immune to radiation. I'm like, okay, that is a good one. I just love that, okay, we have to have Hulk dealing with the fact that he has a son now, because, oh boy, could you just have him go take care of that problem. Because he's also got a cousin and a son that could just go, hey guys, get in there because it doesn't bug you. One thing I loved that they mentioned in this, that like they're talking about Talos, who he's technically 40, he hasn't made a midlife crisis purchase yet. He's like, what was yours? Mine was the Avengers.
Love that line.
That was fantastic. Oh yeah. And so the main crux of this the main two plot points that I'm gathering is going to be Nick trying to get back to the old Nick Fury and dealing with the fact that he's shaken a bit, and whatever's going to happen with Gaia. And if her and Talos make up or not. It's going to be the main crux of this. And then whatever the main villain plot is in the background, because obviously the bombs were a decoy for them to do something else. Which, if that was to kill Hill, sure. I just don't know if that was a circumstance or if that was something else that he got lucky and just did.
It is kind of unfortunate how a lot of the old characters from like the first 3 phases that we've lost are all female.
Yeah, and they've kind of, I don't want to say got fridged, but they got put in situations where the furtherment of a different character was their death. So, slight tangent. One of the funniest thing that has ever happened at a Supernatural convention, or like at a Comic-Con or something. The showrunner of Supernatural for like the last 8 seasons, Jeremy Carver, they were having a thing, and there's this character Charlie, who everyone loved. It was like a little sister to the 2 main brothers. She's a total nerd. She was played by Felicia Day. Absolutely awesome. And then there becomes a point where they were like kind of other universes become a thing. And one of them comes in and they took care of this other version of her and they thought everyone was okay. And then they come back and they find out that their version of her was like got her, I think it was her neck slit and she was dead in a tub. So she died. And then this fan comes up in a questionnaire in the middle of the panel and goes through this big long diatribe about the boys and all their furtherment and all that. And this and the culture. He's like, so how was that helped by you killing off Charlie and leaving her dead in a tub? And then freaking Jared and Jensen, the 2 main characters, are like, yeah, how did that help? We're not answering that question. So, yeah, you had that. Oh my gosh, that was so funny. But yeah, it does suck. Like, this one was a heartstring pull. I'm good with it. Like, I get it. If you're only going to have the 2 humans in it and they're not going to kill Nick Fury because Nick has got a bigger thing to play in all of this, the you're not ready thing. Mm-hmm. And then Hill wasn't ready either. So that's going to be a big thing going forward. I get it. It sucks. I really like Maria Hill. But yeah, let's have a few male characters die for character development.
Please.
Let's even the books just a touch. What was I going to get at? So, yeah. We don't know where people's allegiances are lying through all this.
Do we even know what the U.S. government knows? Like, do they really even know what's going on in Russia?
I don't know, because I don't know who who was the dude that woman that Fury visited was talking to in her office? I don't think that was the president.
No, I think she just happens to be working for MI6.
Okay, that's what I kind of figured. It was just an important guy. I don't think they know anything. I think they're going to open the next episode with a news report of a bomb going off and Maria Hill's dead. So I don't think they know anything at this point, if I'm being honest, because they point blank said they have no messages from Maria or Nick, and they're considering them AWOL. So they know nothing of what's going on, and they have no idea why Nick left Saber. So my guess is they know less than Bupkis.
I like considering that scene with Rhodey and Fury from what I assume is the next episode. I bet like one of the questions that he's gonna have is like, do you mind telling me what the hell is going on here?
Mm-hmm. And he's not going to talk about why Maria got killed or how it happened, because he knows how it happened and he's not going to want to deal with that. So he's just going to be like, I'm not telling you guys anything. And then he's going to be literally AWOL and just in Russia. Because the only suspect or any person they have tied to that bomb is going to be Fury.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, yeah. But yeah, no, it's good so far. I mean, a spy thriller, it's always good. I'm always okay with an old-fashioned little, I want to say whodunit mystery kind of deal thing. I'm okay with that. It's just like the closest we had to this the last time was Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah. Although I have a feeling this is going to be more consistent than Falcon and the Winter Soldier, because we know, like, if anyone followed the production, that COVID really gutted that show.
And they also had a lot of different plots going on in that show to handle. They had the bombing, John Walker's all of that stuff, freaking everything with Sam trying to accept the fact that he's Cap, Bucky trying to accept who he is, freaking Zola trying to accept who Bucky is on top of who he is, and the freaking Dora Milaje were there dealing with shit. A lot was going on in one season.
Yeah, this feels a little bit more. It's a bigger story, but it's also more contained.
Yeah, which is fine. It's like 6 episodes, 6 or 9, 6. I'm very okay with having 6 episodes getting in and dipping out. Like I was literally watching this and thinking of like the last time I watched a comic book show that was based in Russia was like season 5 of Arrow.
Wow, that long ago.
And it's still to this day my favorite line a Russian has said to anyone ever, whatever season that is, when Ali is having his flashback of being in Russia. I want to say it's 4 or 5. And it's him and Anatoly are in a van and they have to go somewhere. And Oliver says something to him and Anatoly just turns to him and goes, "Are you being sarcasm?" It's the best, most Russian line ever to be spoken in TV history. And I love it.
I love Anatoly.
You're my favorite American over. Oh, it's so good. Yeah, but all right. Anything else?
Not really. This was a very much a table setting episode. I believe next week is when some more actual shit is going down.
Yeah. And is there any breaks involved in this?
I think it's just straight through.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to be out of town for the finale. I'm going to be in Tennessee visiting my cousin Stephanie, but we'll be back the next week. Wait, when does these air?
Wednesdays.
I leave Wednesday morning. Damn it. I'll be getting on a plane at like 5 a.m. Why couldn't it have been Tuesday? All right. I forgot because we didn't watch it on the right day. Disney Plus is being dumb for me, people. It took me like a different sources and different stuff to do it. Every other streaming service will play on my desktop except for Disney Plus. It'll get the Disney and stop. That's all I can get. And it just goes boop, and then sits at the blue screen. I don't know. But anyway, yeah. I like it so far. We're good. Just the main thing they need to do is justify why a planet was never found.
Yes.
Because that's the entire reason for the show. And it can't be, well, the writers forgot to find them a planet and we use it as an excuse to make a TV show. Don't do that. But yeah. All right. Mike, where can everybody find it?
You guys can find me on Twitter at Captain K42. You can check out my quick thoughts on letterboxd.com/CoachK42. And you can follow Renegade Pop Culture on Facebook and Twitter at Ren Pop Culture. You can also find us on YouTube, on Podchaser. Subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/Renegade Pop Culture. Listen to all of our podcasts on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen. And last but not least, everything can be found at renegadepopculture.com. You can escape, so do we.
Absolutely. You can find me everywhere at Organoid Zero, mainly on YouTube and Twitch, which on Twitch, if any of y'all are going to be wanting to play Spider-Man 2 on October 20th, midnight release, when that comes out, I will be streaming it and giving away a digital deluxe edition of the game. You need to be watching the stream and subscribed. $5 to win something that's worth $80. I think that's a pretty good deal. So as long as you're there and you're subscribed, you come in, you type something, it enters you in an automatic raffle, it spins around and pukes out a winner. It'll happen sometime during the stream. Stop by. Got a chance to win. That's Organoid Zero. Same name as the YouTube channel, and it'll be on Twitch. All right, everyone, until next time, we'll see you all later. Bye.
Peace.